The purpose of this session is to give you an overview of the information security issues that affect the Smart Meters program. All program team members should have undergone general security training. This session supplements this with some additional information that reflects the unique position the Smart Meters program occupies. If you have not taken part in the CGI Security Induction, you should do so immediately. This applies to all Smart Meters team members, whether you are a CGI member or a contractor. If you don't know how to do this, contact the PMO straight away and make sure you undergo the induction. Now, security sometimes gets a bad name. It's often perceived as being a barrier to progress and a stifling agent on innovation. This can indeed happen. However, on this program, it is our intention that it should neither stifle nor be a barrier. Security matters. We face genuine threats, and the program itself, due to its importance to the country and the value of the systems we are helping develop, is of interest to people and organizations that pose these genuine threats. Remember, we're not making this stuff up. Bad things have happened and will continue to do so. We will have incidents. This session is part of a broader piece to help reduce the likelihood and impact of these incidents when they do happen. We are all vulnerable. No one is immune. We cannot secure everything, and there will always be risks. The key is to manage them. As I said, there are some real threats out there. Information security incidents happen all the time. It's likely that most are never publicized. You may recognize some of the following: Ashley Madison, the Sony hack, the Yahoo hack. They all happened and had significant impact. There is evidence of attempts to subvert really high-profile activities, such as various democratic elections. The 2015 Information Security Breaches Survey, which is conducted by PwC on behalf of the UK government, found that 90% of large organisations had a security breach. This is up from 81% the previous year. The average cost of the worst breach of the year at a large organisation was $1.46 million to $3.14 million. 75% of large organisations suffered staff-related security breaches. This is up from 58% from the previous year. The types of staff-related incidents reported were unauthorized access to systems or data, for example by using somebody else's ID, breach of data protection laws or regulations, and the loss or leakage of confidential information. Large-scale technology projects like the Smart Meters program are indeed badly affected by security incidents. In mid-2017, many organizations across the world were badly hurt by some malicious software known as the WannaCry ransomware Trojan horse. This malevolent software caused significant damage to, amongst many others, the UK National Health Service. The WannaCry ransomware spread across the globe, leaving system disruption, data loss, and massive financial costs in its wake. The final bill may never be known, but it runs into millions, probably more. It is possible that people lost their lives because of the impact on health services. As mentioned previously, it seems likely that attempts have been made to affect the running and ultimately the results of various government elections. Such actions require considerable resources, including funding, skilled manpower, and sophisticated equipment. These are serious matters. So who is doing this? Who might benefit from subverting large-scale technology projects and programs? There are many candidates, not least foreign intelligence services, or FIS as they're sometimes known. Other candidates include serious and organised crime, inquisitive media, and activist groups who have political ends. The Smart Meters program is also targeted because of the significant commercial value of the systems we develop. The global theft of intellectual property is growing. Information has real commercial value, and this value is increasing. If you consider the CGI portfolio, many of the companies own massive quantities of intellectual property. The value of intellectual property is considerable. It's extremely hard to quantify how much is lost, especially as losses often include consequential harm, such as loss of reputation and political impact. Intellectual property theft has been estimated at $600 billion globally, equivalent to the global trade in illegal drugs. In May 2013, the Commission on the Theft of American Intellectual Property claimed that China was responsible for half of the intellectual property theft cases affecting the USA and was 80% of the problem. The Commission concluded that the US faces a potential $300 billion annual loss because of China's intellectual property theft actions. The value of the smart meters program intellectual property is massive. And it's not just the value of the program's intellectual property that makes it attractive as a target. When implemented, the services provided by the program will form part of what is known as the Critical National Infrastructure, or CNI. As I've just discussed with the WannaCry attack on the NHS, there are bodies that regard the UK's CNI as a legitimate target. Damaging the nation's utility supplies will have an inevitable negative impact. There are certain scenarios that include people dying, especially during extreme weather when heating or cooling are important. There are groups of people who are convinced that the smart meters program is a threat or a costly extravagance. These activist groups, sometimes known as hacktivists, vary in scale, capability and intent. Some suggest that the program introduces strategic vulnerabilities into the national utility infrastructure and it should be stopped. Most of these concerns are voiced by genuinely well-intentioned people with heartfelt opinions. Many of their concerns centre on privacy, and they feel that the information handled by the program when operational could be abused. One of the key principles within the program is designing security into the fabric of the systems we build to prevent this misuse, whether this be by malevolent external parties or by inadvertent actions by well-meaning insiders. So how do these issues manifest? There are many ways, and they include malicious software, denial of service, direct attempts to hack the systems, and even physical damage. Malicious software is often delivered via email. These emails contain content that is designed to get you to click on links or download files. You may also find there are particular websites that seem attractive, and this can lead you to sites that try to subvert security and download malicious code. You should be aware of these threats from your general CGI security training. This session will not repeat what you should already know, and if you don't know, contact the security team or the PMO and they will help you find the material you need. What this session can do is suggest things you can do to reduce the security risks we face. It will also tell you some things that you must do. Now, what can you do? Certainly learn to recognize threats such as malicious software or social media. The PMO provides a series of documents designed to help you do this. They're available from the PMO, and this is an example of the guidance material that's available. Secondly, look after your stuff. Laptops, tablets, phones, USB sticks, CDs if you still use them, papers. All these things have to be physically secured at some point. Lock your workstation and lock stuff away, especially sensitive program papers. Keep a clear desk when you're not at your desk. Makes sense in so many ways. Don't click on tasty-looking links in embedded emails if you're uncertain as to what might happen. If you've been sent a file attachment, make sure you're confident that the file is legitimate. Use basic discipline. Think before you send an email. Think then act. Consider whether the information is okay to go on an email. Ask yourself, is the email internal or will it go out across the internet? Am I sending it to the right person? Essentially, think before you send. When in public, be wary when someone starts trying to solicit information about your work from you. And when you're in public, be quiet. Shut up in the pub. Don't boast about your work. And don't work on sensitive material on public transport or in public areas. And be very, very wary of dodgy Wi-Fi hotspots. Follow media handling procedures, and this includes USBs and personal devices. This can be boring, dull, but it is entirely necessary. Even if you think the procedure is silly and excessive, if something happens and you're found to not have complied, this in itself can be damaging to CGI's reputation as well as to the program. It's also likely it may have a damaging effect on you as well. Again, the PMO has useful documents designed to help you apply the correct procedures. If you handle smart meters program information, whether this is using paper, a computer, a tablet or other media, it is likely that some will have or will require what's known as a protective mark or marking. These are sometimes referred to as security labels. The security label indicates how information should be handled. It's normally the person that creates the information, the author or originator, who sets the security label. For the most part, If you need to know program information, if you are appropriately cleared, you will be able to use program information. If you don't need to know, you can't. The most common security labels are DSP only and DSP only sensitive, DCC only and DCC only sensitive, and DCC only sensitive, UK only. This session is not the best place to describe in detail how protectively marked information is handled. There are guidance documents available from the PMO or the security team that sets this out clearly. It is essential you know what to do, as any inadvertent disclosure or misuse of sensitive information could have a significant impact. One important issue relates to the disposal of information. It has to meet some exacting standards. This applies no matter how that information is stored, paper, CD, USB, etc. Make sure you follow the rules on this. As stated before, inadvertent disclosure or misuse of sensitive program information can have a significant impact. Badges and physical security. Remember that you need to make sure people around you in CGI offices are meant to be there. Wear your badge, ask colleagues to do the same, and challenge people who are not wearing the badge you expect, or if you think they're not part of the program team. We know this is hard, but it really should be part of your job. The Smart Meters program is a secure program. Only those people who work on it can access the team areas without escort. Wear your ID badge, challenge those people you think may not be permitted to be in our program offices. Our secure areas should be kept to named people, people who have the right to be there. We need to protect our equipment, information, even our personal belongings. Lock your stuff away when not needed and lock your workstation when it's unattended. This applies even in secure areas. There's really no point in half measures. Security incidents. Report things, incidents, threats, concerns. Tell the security team, your manager or the PMO. The security team are trying to introduce a true no-blame approach to reporting, even if someone is confessing to an error of judgment. You should never be afraid to admitting mistakes. Failure to do so will be treated more harshly than any actual mistake. Personal information. Remember that personal information, that is, information about a person or people, is the subject of some pretty powerful legislation, such as the Data Protection Act. This matter is about to get really strict. The new General Data Protection Regulations, or GDPR, introduce truly significant penalties on transgressors, including massive fines for organizations that fail to handle personal information appropriately. Get to know what you have to do. This could have a real impact on CGI and you personally, and this includes mega fines and even potential jail time. The PMO has guidance material on GDPR. Check it out. Remember that the PMO and the security team have guidance documents on all these matters we've discussed. Much of this is also available online or on the project shared drive. It's worth keeping up to speed. Be in no doubt. The DSP Program Board is committed to ensuring the security of all program assets and requires members, contractors and third-party staff to apply security in accordance with established policies and procedures. There is a formal disciplinary process for members who commit a security breach. It will be enforced. And remember, the Smart Meters program is a secure program. There are things you should do that might not happen when working on a less sensitive account. These include increased security vetting, the additional measures regarding the handling of information we've just discussed and physical security, and also some special measures relating to encryption. Remember that when you join the program, you are required to read the following. These mandatory documents that you must read are the Quick Guide to Information Security, Data Classification Scheme/Information Labeling Policy, the Disposal and Destruction Policy, the Security Operating Procedures, and the Password Security Rules. If you have any doubt about what to do with sensitive assets, consult the relevant policies, your line manager, or the security team. In terms of vetting, everybody who works for CGI and all Smart Meters program team members need to be security cleared to what's called Basic Standard, or BS. Some team members require more rigorous vetting, normally Security Check, or SC. If your role requires you to access the DSP secure areas in either Reading or Leatherhead, the development environment, the DSP secure share, or if you're going to be involved in the development of security enforcing functions, you will need SC. If you have problems with your clearance, make sure you talk to either the security team or the PMO. Clearance can be complex and time-consuming, so an early warning on problems can help us avoid some lengthy pain. Cryptography. One of the fundamental aspects of the security of the Smart Meters program services is the use of cryptography. If you are involved in this, you will be subject to additional controls. You may even be required to undergo vetting in excess of that associated with SC. There are also significant controls surrounding the access to the various data centers that house the encryption equipment. If you are involved, be prepared for a very strict regime. Finally, you will be asked to complete a quick online survey that helps us determine how effective our communications and briefings are. This session and the survey are mandatory. We ask this as it is one of our contractual requirements. The survey is not a test. There is no pass or fail relating to it. We simply need to know who has seen this presentation and how well we are getting our message across. The PMO will let you know how to connect to this survey. This is a special program. We are developing and supporting part of the UK critical national infrastructure, and the services we provide can and no doubt will make a positive contribution to the nation and our fellow citizens. All this positivity depends on us developing, implementing and running the program securely. Thank you for contributing to this.